Morning Year 9. Rather than Zooming you this morning, I thought it might be helpful if I talked you through in a little YouTube video the planning sheet for your piece of creative writing that we've been working on over the last couple of weeks. That means if you're not sure about anything, you can come back to the video and you can just listen to the section that you need to listen to again. So over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've been working on lots of different features of your creative writing. We've been thinking about sensory writing, we've been thinking about figurative language, and more recently you were thinking about how you can make your work technically accurate. How can you structure it? How can you paragraph it? How can you make sure that your punctuation is correct? So your task is going to be called pray. Not pray as if you're in a church, but pray as in if you're being hunted by a predator. It says you are going to write a first-person I story with the title Pray. So you're going to imagine that you are the animal or creature or human being hunted. In this story, you'll be imagining that you are a creature being pursued by a predator. In the description of the chase, from your point of view, you will need to describe your thoughts, describe your feelings, describe the things that you can see, hear and smell, describe what your predator looks like, describe how you move and they move and the chase, and describe the outcome. What happens at the end? Do you escape? Does your story end in a way that is unfinished? Do you die? So, you need to complete the planning boxes. First of all, have a think about what type of creature are you. You can be an animal that you know, you can be a made-up animal. If you want to, you can be a human being, but I don't want you to be a human being chased by another human. If you're a human being, then you need to be being chased by something else, like a creature. But I would rather that you were some kind of animal. How can you describe your movement, your voice, your speed, and your size? What type of creature is your pursuer? How would you describe your pursuer's movement, their voice, or the sound that they make, their speed and their size? And remember, when you're doing these pieces of planning, really think about the best adjectives and verbs that you can use. So don't just say that you are a big creature. You could say that you are enormous, gigantic, colossal, okay? Don't just say that you run along the ground. Do you scamper? Do you plod? Do you race? Okay, so think about the best adjectives and verbs that you can use. Now think about the structure of your piece of writing. You did a little bit of work on openings and narrative hooks on Firefly, so don't just begin by saying, I was standing in the savannah. Okay, maybe start with something exciting like a sound effect or a description of the setting. This piece of writing needs to be exciting before you start. Be certain what the flow of the chase is going to be and complete the boxes. Where does the chase start? Where are you? What are you doing? Are you caught by surprise, or do you feel like this predator has been watching you for a while? Can you describe the environment you are fleeing through? So this is when your sensory description really comes into play, and your figurative language. What are the different stages of the chase? Think about the iguana being chased by the snakes. There were different stages of his chase. At the beginning, he was silent, still, stealthy as the snake approached. Then he took off in a race. Then several snakes, 4 or 5 or 6, wrapped themselves around him, but he escaped. Then he leapt up onto the rocks and another few snakes came flying at him. We thought that was it for him, but then finally he leapt free and escaped. So are there different stages of the chase? Do you feel as though you've got away, but then the predator comes back? What happens? And how does the chase end? Now, think about the types of language that you want to use. You really, really need to think about planning out language, particularly planning out figurative language and your sensory descriptions. So what great action verbs can you collect to describe your movement and the movement of your predator? What great adverbs can you use? They're words that describe verbs, usually with ly on the end. What great adjectives can you use? And can you think of any similes or metaphors, perhaps even a piece of personification or alliteration? So here's your checklist for your piece of writing. Have you got a clear and exciting start? Are the stages of the chase clear to follow? Have you got a clear ending? Are you using the best words or phrases that you can? Are your spellings as accurate as they can be? Does the sentence you have written make sense? Have you included paragraphs? Is your punctuation correct? Does your story make sense? Have you checked spelling, punctuation and grammar, and can you read every word clearly? Is this your best piece of writing? So boys, at this stage, I just want you to think about the planning of your piece of writing. You're not necessarily going to begin writing it today in our Monday lesson. You're going to begin writing it in our Tuesday lesson. So complete the planning to the very best of your ability. The thinking and writing time will definitely take you at least this period, so please give it your full attention. I cannot wait to read what you have written about in your Pray pieces of writing. Good luck, gentlemen.